Winston? Winston? Come back with that leg of lamb.
Beets are normally associated as a winter vegetable, coming to the table around November. We dice them and roast them with other root vegetables, and they're absolutely delicious. But here in Texas, the 60-degree temperatures of spring are perfect for growing beets. So end of spring, early summer, we get this beautiful bounty of spring, summer beets, and these are so good. I was up early this morning to visit my local farm, Pure Land Farm in McKinney, Texas. Store-bought beets are okay, but they've been picked about a week, and farmers market ones, fantastic. But there's nothing better than actually going to a farm and pulling them out of the ground yourself. It doesn't get much fresher and much better than that. I picked red beets, golden beets, Kyoja beets, and I was thrilled when the onions and the green garlic were ready for picking too. A lot of people don't like beets, but I'm sure it's only because they've eaten the boiled to death ones, you know, those in a can. I just think fresh beets are absolutely gorgeous, cooked fresh, and a little bite to them, amazing. Once I've cut off the stalks and the leaves and then washed the beets, I'm going to cook them. Now, you can boil them if you want to, but boiling them, it leaches out all of those gorgeous nutrients and into the water. You know, it looks really pinky, the water, once you've cooked them. So, that's not for me, and they're okay, but cooking them in the oven, roasting, I just feel that they dry out, you know, they tighten up, and it's okay if you're actually peeling them and roasting them with other vegetables, but when you roast them whole, they can be spongy and not good at all. My favorite way is to cook them sous vide. Now, if you don't know sous vide, plenty of videos on the internet on sous vide, and I'm going to do a big video on cooking sous vide soon. Basically, we put the beets into a bag. We suck out the air, sous vide under vacuum, and then drop them into a water bath. I cook mine 185 degrees for about an hour and a half. They come out absolutely amazing. I put a link to a few sous vide machines in the description below. If you don't have one and you want to get one, there's so much fun to cook with. An hour and a half, amazing. If you don't have a sous vide machine, you can still cook them the conventional way. Remember, into cold water, that old chef thing, if it grows under the ground, it goes in cold water. If it grows above the ground, it goes into hot water. And also remember, when you cook them, make sure you cover them completely. As they boil, you'll lose some of that water, so keep them covered all the time. Then just give them a pierce with a little fork or a toothpick. Make sure they're nice and tender inside. Once they're done, into cold water, let them cool down completely. And don't throw away the leaves. I think the leaves are actually my favorite part of the beets. We're going to take those and then wash them, shred them really fine, like a chiffonade, a fine cut. Then saute them in a little oil and garlic. Oh, they're amazing. Once the beets are cooked, we can take them out of the sous vide. Slit the bag, and smell them. Oh, it's like smelling the earth. I mean, they just smell amazing. Put them into a bowl and we'll let them cool down. And then just leave them to cool. Once they've cooled, then we peel them. But we don't have to peel them when we cook them sous vide. Watch this. We take some paper towel, we take one of the beets, and then we wrap it around the beet. And we just rub it. Look at this. The most gorgeous beet. Look at that shiny beet. Isn't that amazing? And they smell so good. Do that with the rest. And now I'm just going to saute my beet greens. I've dried them off and I'm cutting them into a really nice fine chiffonade. Nice thin slices. If you've never had the beet greens before, it's a lot like chard, but a little bit sweeter, a million times better than spinach. Spinach, when it cooks, is really sort of soggy, but the beet greens are delicious and they're really good for you too. And I've peeled the onion that I got at the farm. Look at that. It smells so good. And the centerpiece from my green garlic. Cut this nice and thin, and it's a lot milder than garlic. So it's still oniony, but it's really mild, but it has that garlic flavor, which is gorgeous. Some olive oil into the pan, and then the onion and the green garlic. A pinch of salt. Salt draws out the moisture, so that's gonna help it soften a little bit quicker. We let that cook till it goes translucent. Once the onions and green garlic have softened, then we can add the beet greens. Give them a stir, a little more salt, and some black pepper. We're going to saute them for about 3 or 4 minutes, just until they start to wilt and go soft. Now I've got everything assembled. I've got my favorite beet recipe. I've got some candied walnuts. I've got some agave syrup, some Greek yogurt, my beautiful beets, my even more beautiful and delicious beet greens, and then some balsamic vinegar too. I'm going to start by cutting the beets, and I like to cut them into little triangles, little wedges. Cooking them sous vide really helps them keep their color. Look at that color on those. The Chioggia beets really steal the show. I mean, show stealers for sure. Look at that. Look at those stripes down there when we cut this into those wedges. Often in the US, they're called stripy beets. Well, you can see why. And I always save the red beets till last because they're the ones that bleed. They're the ones that run, but that's good because I want that. I want that to run into my Greek yogurt. Look at those. Are they amazing? And now just to put it all together. You can arrange this however you want on the plate, but I like to do a mixture of the different beets and lay them all out. It looks so pretty. Princess Diana loved beets. I remember being at Kensington Palace once, and she was really into juicing. And she said, the day of trooping the color, I want some beets. Give me some beet juice. It's really healthy, really good for you. And I said, Your Royal Highness, you can't just have a whole glass of beet juice. You got to have apple juice or celery or carrot, just to blend with it. She said, no. Just give me all beet juice. It's really good for you. It's going to be a long day. And I did the whole glass of beet juice. About an hour later, she came into the kitchen and she'd got blotchy skin. And I said, oh my gosh. She said, Darren, you poisoned me. I said, Your Royal Highness, it's the beets. Well, she went on the sunbed for about an hour, put on lots of makeup, drank lots of water, and she was fine. Don't they look absolutely gorgeous? Now, onto there, I'm going to put my Greek yogurt. You can see the color from the red beets already bleeding into them. And then a few greens. I've got my candied walnuts. These add an amazing texture with the beets. There's a recipe for them in the description. Next, my agave. If you want to use honey, you can. If you want to use maple syrup too, you can use that. Not onto the greens, but just around over the yogurt and the beets. And then finally, some balsamic. I have 25-year aged balsamic. This is incredible. I absolutely adore this. I host culinary trips in the summer, and I took a group to Tuscany. We went to Modena. One of my friends has a balsamic house there. She makes her own balsamic vinegar, and that's where I got it from. Link in the description, but you can use any balsamic at all. I'm just going to drizzle this over the top. Just this morning, these beets were still growing in the field. Look now, this is an amazing dish, amazing recipe, and the flavor of the beets and the yogurt, the balsamic, it's got to be one of the best salads ever. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you make this salad at home, and I hope you go and visit your local farm. Pick some fresh beets, pick some fresh vegetables. It's the best way to cook in the kitchen. It really is the freshest, best ingredients. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and I'll see you again soon. Oh.